Against some StarCraft 2 today. Welcome, welcome. As we have in the top right-hand side, our blue Terran player. This, from Team Liquid, is going to be Cure. In the bottom left, our red Zerg is Solar. As we get our action up and ready to go. Hope everyone is doing great again. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Welcome. We're live here on Twitch and YouTube for our final day of the WardiTV Korean Royale. Thank you so much for the donation. Let me get my stuff open and I can say thank you to that properly. But yeah, we're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, I will ask you already just to hit that like button on the video. It helps out so very much. It really does. So do check that out as a quick little option. Goes a long way to helping us out. Otherwise, Solo in the bottom left and Q in the top right. First Overlord's moving across the map, and away we go. And let me just get my dashboard open so I can just have a quick peek at this. And a Korean name just says thanks for. No further message attached, just thanks for. And we don't know what for exactly. All right, well, that's all good. Again, hopefully, guys are having a great day, great Sunday. Have had a great weekend so far. Our final day of the Korean Royale. And finally, today we have a few less ZVZs. There is a Zerg waiting in the grand finals. Dark is waiting there for us, so we will have him coming through and ready to play a bit further down the line. Obviously, that's in 4 best-of-5's time. He'll be in the best-of-7 grand final. Until then, Q versus Solar. We might have some hiccups today, guys, because today is World Team League Day as well. And World Team League would not let the players play their matches in advance despite the WardiTV Korean Royale Finals happening. So basically, the players, we will just have to wait at some point, most likely for downtime. Players like Solar and Q are taking part in World Team League. Whenever they have to play World Team League, they will just have to go and play World Team League, and there's nothing we can do because nobody ever wants to help Wardy out, is the moral of that story. Yeah, so we will just have to wait around and sit and do nothing. When the players have World Team League matches, there's nothing you can do. I mean, World Team League is every single weekend. It's impossible to avoid, and they don't let players play from replays. We can't kind of play our playoffs preemptively, right? That would really suck, so we're probably going to have some downtime at some point. Like I say, there's just not really anything I can do about that, so that's just how today may go. Just a little bit of a pre-warning on that one. As a couple command centers come up, we get this underway. And we look to see how things are going in these next few moments as we get everything settled down here in game number 1 on Dynasty. Obviously, just the Reaper poking about. Great map to start off on. Q as map pick. And that means that he is going to be able to obviously pick a map which he feels like is his best shot at getting some victories here, getting some W's. So he is going to be setting up in that regard and showing us a little bit of what he plans for. I mean, this is a great map for just pushing on. You can be very greedy with that gold base early, for example, so you can already get that underway. And that's, you know, these are all things which obviously benefit you in a massive way in a kind of a macro game. If you hit some kind of a timing, etc., etc., all of that is typically very good. So a lot of options here in the early stages. Reaper still moving around. A couple of Hellions are going to come across and join said Reaper. It is triple CC out of Q, so that part of this is pretty much decided already, as yeah, that much of it is kind of set in stone. And we just have ourselves these Reapers and Hellions going to try and move through and see if there's going to be some opportunities to get something done. The Evo Chamber's coming down to try and protect. Going to be our starting point there. And we end up just moving back away. As the Hellions, the Reaper just going to go elsewhere, just try and move around a little bit for now. Get that up and rolling. So we get this already with more Hellions. Obviously trying to deny creep will allow you to push more aggressively into certain positions a bit further down the line as well. So opportunities there. As our Queens just going to be chilling out. Hellions in the center, Overlord setting up tight. And a couple Queens, Overlords, drones all coming through. The Spore Crawler on the way up as well. We got ourselves a couple Queens top left, and the Overlords are still chilling up there as our Hellions start to pull back through the center of the map. And our barracks continue to drop on down as well. Hellions, the Reaper, getting set up. And just going to have ourselves the few Hellions on the natural expansion getting settled also. As that Mule is going to drop down. It's just going to get that going on the natural. And just having ourselves the rest of these Hellions Getting, again, moving around and into position. Trying to see what's going on. Well, a few moments of still calm in this game, I suppose, as not too much happens just for now. Now ourselves the Viking taking some shots. I mean, to be fair, this is really obviously sit back, relax, and do a lot of setting up for the future. There's not a whole lot of action really necessary on either side just yet, so that is why we get this kind of very calm and chilled out experience for a little while. Again, just the Hellions moving around. That's going to be about it as our Ling Bang continues up also. Crypt Demon is getting knocked. It's going to be seen still the 1-1 and the Stim Pack is on the way out. The Hellions and the Reaper pull back away through the top side once again. We actually have ourselves the Banshee able to get ourselves a Crypt Tumor too, which is always nice. Just again, that Banshee already dealing some damage. Banshee pulls out down the bottom. The Hellions come forward. A bit of creep going down as well. Like we're going to shoot at that Overseer, so a little bit more being dealt once again as we continue to put some damage out. The Overseer just taking some shots again, making use of these units in the early stages already, basically. As Kua just trying to make the most of this, trying to get something going. So far, not much is really going though. Like I say, it's just spreading creep and Kua building up in towards what is an Atrax, and this is the kind of go-to build for this map because you can just push so aggressively off of such a strong eco opener. As the Marines and the Hellions continue to move through. One medevac loads up. Just going to bring the tank over here. The Hellions going to move through. And our Marines will stim down this ramp as our Queens will take some shots. Creep Primers will start to go down. On the way up, combat shields on the way, additional Marines come through. Our Lings are going to come over as our Overlord will take some damage. And just have ourselves, again, a bit of back and forth here. Q already looking very powerful. Going to have a double drop. He actually left a lot of units at home already. Double drop heads north side. It's going to be a lot of units moving up over there. That's going to be kind of cool to see, as we do have Queens getting pushed back a little further. This Ling Bane pulled out to the right-hand side, so we'll see how that pans out as well in the next little while. Tank shots going well for the moment. And we are going to be seeing the Hellbats here try and protect. I mean, this is the issue of having not really reinforced this position. You will get overwhelmed, but is it worthwhile? You're going to kill the top left base. That's a fifth. I wouldn't say that's the most immediately useful base to get rid of. The additional Broodlings going down as they pop out. The Lings head towards the upper side, and again, some more of this creep spread will continue to get dropped here. But I feel like this creep that is not overly influential. We will drop a fourth base as Q. So he's got a longer-term game plan now coming into place with a fourth base. He's gotten himself a supply lead. He's putting himself in a good position. Now he's looking to play out from there in the next little bit as our Lings, our Banes, our Hydras continue to come back over. Marine Tank is out down to the bottom, and Cure is on a bit of a push once more. So still kind of rallying heavily. Just he never really reinforced that initial position he took, of course. No gold allowed for Zergs. It's just too risky of a base to have, so that was one of the bases that would have been denied with that push as well had it ever been up. As we actually try and take the gold on the other side, that's a more common play, but obviously Q is already here, and that's a kill, not a cancel, because it happens oh so quickly. And Solar finds himself in trouble as Marines can stim down this ramp. The Lings are going to run forward. Tank's doing a good job. I mean, this just becomes such an impossible position to fight, and this hatchery is so low. I mean, you kind of have to fight. You don't really want to lose another base here, because the Banelings will do nothing. The Hydras, I want to say, are just not going to be enough, because they're going to be on their own as well, so they're just not going to have any real support, which means that they're in trouble. The Bane's going down, the Bane's all dropping, Hydra's still taking shots. Just going to have ourselves, I think, well, maybe not quite a cleanup, but there is still the double drop top left side, and that runs into a base, and Cure is going to take a pretty plain simple game number 1 victory. Game day, as in the top left, up 1-0, clean and simple to start us off. Our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is indeed Cure. As we get to the bottom right, our red Zerg from Vitality, we've got ourselves Solar. Game 2 of our best of 5. Alright. SCV and a depot starting on through. The Overlord begins to move onto the map. And we'll have a few moments of calm once again as we build up here and figure out what exactly it is that we are going to start off doing. Max and the gas is coming in on the side of here. Nothing really crazy about that, obviously. That's fairly normal. That's pretty typical. That's pretty normal. As our Rax gas comes in, the SCVs comes up. A couple of SCVs jump onto the refinery as well. Getting those on the way as our Overlord continues to move onwards. Towards the top side of the map. Overlord of Solar on the right. On a little bit of a journey. Obviously just checking and make sure there's no proxy racks or anything involved in this game. Make sure everything's looking pretty normal and regular. Solar letting them Overlords out and about for the moment. As Command Center, Orbital Command, the Reaper all coming through. Got a couple drones on the way from Solar with a hatchery and a spawning pool coming online. Overlord continues to head to the top left, then a Reaper will start to head down to the bottom right side, so we take some different journeys here for the moment. And get underway. And that Reaper heads all the way to the bottom right into this natural. Shots off the Reaper and the Lings will fall back for a few moments. The drones are going to be chilling there. Factory is halfway done. And the Queen pops out. It's going to hit the Reaper. And as the Reaper comes back around the other side, nearly getting the drones. This initial dance, pretty reasonable for the moment. Obviously nothing too crazy. It's never meant to be. As our factory finishes, we'll start to get Hellions on the map to aid the Reaper. The Ling speed only just starting, so a very late Ling speed from Solar. He's going to have no issues for the foreseeable future. He's going to be fine. Reaper continues to patrol, and another Overlord just down on the bottom side as well. Hatchery comes in, Overlord to the far left, Starport coming up, our Command Center dropping down. Reaper continues to fall backward here. Just gonna see that moving over. Obviously, Hellion's going to be here once more, and again, this still is kind of the excitement for the early game. As CQ orbitaling up his 3rd CC, so that economy is getting very well set right now. The Reaper and the 2 Hellions get pushed back, so we get those chased away. The Viking and the now Liberator on the way up as well. Continue to bring that into play. To have the Hellions and the Reaper just back into the center of the map and still moving over. A couple Queens, the Overlords, the drones. Everything is a building. So look at our Lib coming through. Stimpack will start. A couple of Hellions on the way out. We have our Overlord just flying forwards here from Solus. Just going to bring that through to the front, and a couple of Marines are going to get there. Going to take that Overlord out as well. Hellions still moving. Obviously a good amount of them. Not very aggressive from Q. Some Terrans will make an attempt to kind of like, throw Hellions into their opponent's mineral lines and so on. Q is not doing anything kind of toward that just yet. Early on in the game, he has been very happy to just sort of sit and, kind of build up. Let's get back to the center. More Lings on the way out. The Evolution Chamber building on the natural. A 4th base gets started as well. Engineering base both about to finish. Just coming down the right, just gonna get past that hatch. The Ling's actually looking to come in from the other side, and we stand up against each other right here. One and Stim all coming through. The extra drones building up as well. There's a lot of drones in this base, I guess, until the 4th gets saturated. Where else are they meant to be? Dangerous if the Hellions did find an opening around the left side. I mean, Soul has pretty good vision, but I guess there's not really way in without him being able to respond. And Kua, like I say, has not really been in the business of diving through those Hellions in this series so far either, so don't really have an immediate reason why he would suddenly decide to do that, as our Lings will pick off and kill off this set of rocks as well. It's just going to take that down. Obviously, open map is generally a better scenario for the Zerg player here, and that's exactly what Solo plays towards with this set of rocks going down. Just opens up the space as our medevacs will go down the left-hand side. Marines coming over, just going to unload a few of them now. Again, we've got 1-1 upgrades. Combat shield continue to come through. Gonna take a little stim. Actually, will take some damage. A few Lings continuing to cross. Things will continue to go down. Lings continue to make their way over. We are gonna lift and then go toward the main base. So making some plays. As that 1-1 upgrades and combat shield continue to come through. Marines gonna be relocating. The Viking firing up onto the Overseer, now onto the Overlord. Hellions are still gonna go, and Ling Bane is chased away down to the south side. Medevacs have to pull back, so they have to pull over as well. So the Viking trying to shoot. The Queens will get rid of said Viking though, so that will fall. And we still have Medevacs back onto the right-hand side of the map, so away they go once more. Well, just going to be seeing our Medevacs and Marines coming back over this side. Lings, Banes, everything. Obviously starting to move about. Obviously there's a couple of Widow Mines though, so you got to be careful. Don't want those Widow Mines to find big damage. Hellbats defensively going to be great as well. That should dissuade Solo from committing into this. There's reinforcements in good numbers too. This Ling army is not going to find anything at all. Some more Banes morph on the far right. There's a few more Lings get taken out as well. Another creep tumor going down. And that Ling Bane army about the idea of jumping onto that group of Marines, more Lings through the center, falling back as well. I mean, this is really just a double drop. This is not a major army. This is not a whole bunch of anything. Marines fire again. The single Zergling is going to get grabbed. The Ling Bane still runs through. Widow Mine shots. Bang and bang. All those different Lings get taken out there. Tumors will be spreading. And 2 Medevacs mines all coming up. A few tech labs still coming into play. We've got ourselves the Bioforce on the left. Extra Banes morph on the far right side. Our Bio coming bottom. So mine shots will not get to go off. Obviously, first bigger push from Kua. After the drop on the right side, this is the next little bit of attention being made here. Things actually go clearing out. Ling Bane still gathering up. A hatchery in the top right-hand side sets up once more. As Ling Bane Hydra comes back over. Honestly, it seems like there's enough for Solo to kind of pin this back. Kua continues to go for a split push on both sides. So not focusing too much on one direction. Solo about to get to Solo's biggest strength, which is that Lurker Den. With the Lurker Den finishing up, we will be able to go into Ling Bane Hydra Lurker. Obviously, Lurker is just so good, especially with the Ling Bane supporting them. We do lose a base top right though, but this for Solo right now is a survival game. If he can just survive for Lurkers to be properly online, I don't think he's going to mind this at all. See, small Ling Bane Hydra into the top right, chasing. Like I said, it's still a bit of a split push. The drops on the bottom left will continue to sit here and just leaving one Marine in the mineral line to block as well. Bane settles down to the bottom side. And we got another scan coming through. I wouldn't mind will burrow here. Baneling's crashed straight into it though. Take that out. Medivacs just load up once again. The Widowmine's still taking some shots. And that +2 armor upgrade is about to finish on the engineering bay. +3 attack coming up on the engineering bay as well. Marine Marauder, command centers all building. Kira and Solo both maxed out. We could be in for a long one. Kira is not one to shy away from the later stages of the game. The adrenal glands coming through here. The burrow is on the way up. Let's get ourselves the Marines still fighting in the main base. A few more Lings run forward. They get cleaned out as well. Another Hydra goes down. Actually, the Medivac will fall alongside this. As our Lings are still looking to make their way through onto these Marines, and they will get quite a few of them. The Ghosts continue to produce on in, and again another missile turret will come up as Widowmine shot looking to go. Lingbane will still take some connections. Hydra's pushing forwards. Q's supply limits a little bit here. Actually still has a Viper as it blinding clouds up the 2 siege tanks. So the defenses on this forward base are falling, and it looks as though Q may not keep the 5th alive. So no 5th base for him. And that's a big first win for Solo, because obviously no 5th base really limits what the Terran can do and how long the Terran can sit here for. Hatch goes down. We are going to scan and get rid of a few more creep tumors. Medivacs load up and pull back once more. We still have Marines diving to the bottom side. This hatchery will be in some trouble. It will fall. The Medivacs load back into, load back up their Marines. We're actually going to end up losing everything on these two. The empty ones fall, but the 2 full ones get out over to the left-hand side. So they at least will be able to stick around a little while longer here. Very fast as 3 Banelings on the way up. Triple Overseer in production as well. Viper is consuming. As it goes to coming out, we are prepped for any sort of lurker count to really be built up here. For the moment, Solo's army is still just a couple spellcasters and Lingbane Hydra. There's kind of always that kind of guessing game of when is it good to add lurkers. If your opponent's too prepared for lurkers, then actually lurkers are not always the kind of best yeah. Well, I'm just gonna go hitting. Rock's taking some damage. Tank shots going through as our bio pulls back. Widowmine shot is going to go off. A couple Lings going down. Good spread on this army of the Terran. Banes are crashing through, but I feel like they didn't hit much. It was the Marauders left in the front lines. The rest pulled back. Do not mind that trade so much for Q. 6k resources off better off in this game so far. There's 19 more Zerglings producing Hydra, +2 missile attack coming in on the Evo Chamber. Bio will press forward. This troop spread will be under attack and taking a lot of hits. Pick off this hatchery once again. I'll see the additional Marines coming through. The Ghosts are on the way up. Nuke is in production as our Lings, our Hydras, our Banes continue to get settled here. Marines will fight. A couple of these Banes get knocked away at. Bioforce still taking some damage, and we will see most of this Bio still taking shots here as our tanks will fire. Lings and Banes will take some more hits. And the few Marauders just pulling back as well. The Ghosts also a part of that continue to pull away as we do see a scan coming out. The Infestor lurking forward. Fungal Growth lands and a Medivac will drop down dead. Another Fungal lands on the Bio army. Solo lost a lot this time as well, but he's got the bank to rebuild with at least, so he's got something going his way. Having that bank is obviously a pretty sizable factor, so that should help him out. At least a little here. Oh, Kira. I mean, as long as he has a 5th base up, though, he's going to be feeling pretty confident. Now, Solo is doing the right thing. He's taking as many bases as he can, quickly as he can. Obviously, he's got these 3 bases, which Kira does not reciprocate just yet. But that's okay for Kira. If he takes this base and holds this position and works on these bases, eventually he might take these bases himself. Or eventually, he can then slowly go to the left side of the map later on. So he has options. In terms of what he does here, he does have choices of how this plays out, as a few more Hydras will join back together with the Lingbane. We get ourselves Bioforce pushing through into the center as well, getting onto the creep spread here. couple creep tumors already going down as our Widow Mine shot, trying to find a connection, but the single Ling splits forward. Actually, Mine does end up getting some Banelings at least. Sniping now is free damage is free damage. Any snipe is essentially a unit going down freely. No issues there. Oh my goodness, those Widow Mines are going a lot better than some of the previous ones were, so that's a nice little moment. And the Marauders chase forwards, trying to catch a Hydra or two. Obviously feeling safe if Banes roll towards them, that they're not going to be in too much of a problem. Bane Hydra still coming over here. We are going to see a couple of tanks getting picked away at. Widow Mines continue to come through. Those Banes still building up. There's a nuke launching up into the skies. And drop down onto this base. And it's kind of crazy. We had 2 lurkers killed so far this game. There's another one up. Such a low lurker count. Usually Solar plays just to get to that stage as you're going to see the need to shut this Nidus down the main. Marauder gets there. Stim would be nice just to help, but it looks as though it should be fine anyways. We have a bunch of changes there, which the Ghosts start to deal with just to try and make sure that it's not going to be as easy a set of access for another Nidus. Lings will hit this mineral line, just distracting Q a little bit, plays. Just doing little things, little distractions, but they do add up. Nice Blinding Cloud hits these siege tanks as well. As the Lingbane Hydra pulls back a little further, a hatchery sets up on the right side, and a Nidus network now setting up on the left side also. The Ghost goes pinging away at that hatch, but the Lings come in. They get a wraparound. I will finish off this Nidus network, and we do have ourselves the +3 plating on the armory too, so even getting the final touches to the upgrades going for Cure. Again, like I say, slight delta. We can definitely be in for a long one here. As our Bio unloads up to the top. In the bottom left-hand corner, we've got Bio still making a play, looking to jump onto this hatchery. So the hatchery will go down. Bio comes back over to the right-hand side. You see another Widow Mine getting burrowed up. They're going to go and not really hit too much. Maybe could have been worth retargeting there and towards the other units that were running in, because there was definitely other units that ran over those mines that could have actually been, you could have retargeted those mines onto them, and then that could have caused more trouble for the Zerg player and given you a better shot as the Terran. The shots that went off there were obviously not ideal, though I don't think Hugh is super upset about it. As he treads out mines, he's adding in Liberators, and obviously Liberators are going to be something that controls a lot of the map, controls a lot of the zones here, and that should be able to do a lot for him as well. As we'll drop a missile turret into the front. Advanced Ballistics is still on the way, +3 vehicle plating is coming through too, so all of that continues in production for now. Just bringing up as much as we possibly can. As the Greater Spire is also coming up on the side of Solar, so we get that Greater Spire building. The drones go to the top right-hand side. This hatchery gets in position there as well. And we are going to be, as we take another base on this left side, Knight's coming down. The map really is Solar's. At some point, you got to do something about that as Q. You can't just sit back and let him have every base forever, right? So that's definitely one thing to look toward as the Liberator sieges. This hatchery will be taken, and I mean, Solar has a ridiculous amount of the map, so like I say, I'm kind of surprised Q didn't do more to push in this direction earlier. I thought he would have done more from this forward base to kind of overtake the upper right at least. He did deny this base, but still long distance going on. You know, a push like this, taking a more forward stance in front of his base is what I expected earlier on. Gonna get a bit of it now, though, as the Banes roll in. I am a bit afraid that Solar's army just does not trade well at this point. Obviously, this is a very teched-up Terran army at this stage. The Lurkers are all down on the low ground right side. 5 Liberators building at a time. We have just had the Greater Spire finishing. It's going to take a bit of investment to switch into Broodlords, but that might be the next best play we make here. As the Bio continues to come over, we have our Lurkers still taking shots. A couple of them Broodlings going down once again. Creep Tumors are falling. And we'll have one more Overseer picked off. Also, a couple of Creep Tumors going down. Again, Libs, tank, a couple of Hydras, plenty of Lings. All of that continues through. Tank is shooting. As we do have the Liberator getting there, able to get a big shot off as well. More Lingbane Hydra coming back across. We've seen a couple of snipes coming down, hitting some of those Banes, hitting some of those Lings. more Liberators coming out. The reactors coming through. The bio is still chasing over to the upper right-hand side. Let's make ourselves jump onto this Nidus. The Lurkers firing away at that bio army as well. Hatchery taking some shots top side. The Lingbane Hydra is still coming through the center. Snipe, snipe, snipe. Overseer goes down. A whole lot of stuff continues to go down. You're not going to see that Lurk again nuked as well. Bio in the top right will aim for the Hatchery. Hatchery will drop. Massive counterattack in. Solo decides to, hey, I'm going to just backstab you. Well, Solo probably is going to have this base taken by Q, but it's really nice that he's mined a lot of the minerals off of it. Some of the patches are running dry even, so that is a huge deal. That is so amazing. And as our army recollects in the center, I mean, Solo just has so many bases. He's rich, but he's also 20,000 resources lost worse off. So he really is not in a pretty position there. And actually diving through, 2 bases top right lost. Now another one going down. It's actually very important suddenly that Solo has the left side of the map. I do feel like here at some stage though, when do we take base 6? 5 bases lasts a while, but we are starting to dry up. I mean, I guess it is just this top right base. That is the plan. He sees the Lurker that is camping there. That Knight's going down, just gonna have our Marauders getting there, and that will free up space for the 6. But we are going to try and attack elsewhere at the same time. Solo would love to. Oh, nice parasitic bombs on the Libs and the Medivacs. He would love to just distract Q to the point where taking that 6 base is not easily kind of done. And he's got Q all, units all over the place, and Lingbane Hydra recollects back in the center. Resources lost for 27.7 to 46.7 thousand difference. Obviously, the Zerg being 20,000 worse off is a substantial amount. That's like a full base. Of course, Solo has enough bases to kind of adjust for that, but he has to start trading a bit better at some point. And to me, his army's never really changed. It's still just Lingbane Hydra, and this Q army has done nothing but progress, improve, and just reiterate on itself until it's at a better and better and better stage, which is exactly kind of where it's at now. Is Lingbane Hydra back into the middle. I mean, like I say, what does Solo do? I mean, I guess you're still reliant on spellcasting, but there's only 2 Infestors, 3 Vipers. I mean, I like this position we keep on abusing, just running up here. This is the kind of cavern you've created where there's a little bit weaker. But yeah, EMP, sorry, on the Vipers. However, the fungal comes down. The Ghost cannot lift into the medevac because of the fungal growth. Somehow that was still okay for Q, I think, simply for the fact that he was able to get a lot of shots off against those units running in. 12 Corruptors in production. The switch to Broodlords is a big one, but I honestly feel like we're very well prepped for that as Q. He's going to have, again, a lot of Libs to hold the ground. The Ghost will be able to kind of hold their ground and snipe because the Libs will cover them. I love the snipes coming down here again. Free damage is free damage. You take those. Energy for a unit is pretty much always a good trade, so you want that every single step of the way. You do not ever hesitate for the, on that one. Tank shooting, Creep Tumor falls. We have ourselves again another Corruptor popping, and Vipers are getting their energy going. 5 Lurkers still coming up. Missile turret is coming through. And Q still sits in the center. The Lings coming back around. Bane's moving over as well. Liberators are still sieging. As we get this going, a couple of Banelings will take some shots. The Lings will continue to take hits as well. All of that coming through for the moment as our extra missile turrets come in. The sensor tower is building on up. And get ourselves a Nidus into the bottom left-hand corner. So that Nidus network is being brought up as well. Operators just firing up some shots. Just get that Spore to fire up onto the Lib as well. A couple of Marauders continue to go through. Just get rid of that Nidus network in the upper right-hand corner here. We do have Corruptors and Vipers still moving back over to the left-hand side, where another Liberator gets picked off immediately. Ghosts, Command Center, Sensor Tower, bit of everything is still on the way through. Here's our bio, wants to try and grab this hatchery left side, but not quite able to. That 9 o'clock is one that absolutely should belong to Q, but obviously so far has not been allowed to happen like that. Bane pulls back over, and still just Corruptive Viper gathering. Little Nidus play here. A single Lurker gets completely overreacted to, as we do need a scan. So many Libs, but the scan's still required. And yeah, that Nidus will go down. What's dropping it? There's an Overlord here. There's Nidusing there as well. That's what the bio was previously dealing with. Be nice just to get rid of that Overlord then, so you can pay less attention to this as a game. This is the power of the Liberators, by the way. Just being able to siege up and hold some of these positions so that the bio or whatever else on the ground can just stand there and do its duty, which is to, you know, clean up a base or to fight the units or to get snipes off. That is what the Liberators are creating in terms of an opportunity right now. So that is a huge deal. Another Nidus top right. Again, that Overlord not going down, proving to be a little bit of a problem. Solar very mineral rich, but not very gas rich. I'm not even sure if you can afford a full switch to Broodlords just yet. So I do feel like at some stage Kira has to think about probably mining off this base, although I guess now mining both these top right bases. Yes, Solar took some resources off of there, but at least Kira is the one to continue to mine. He's going to give up some medevacs, free up supply, I imagine, for other units. That's this Nidus again. He's got to wonder where the hell are these Nidus coming from, and surely it's time to snipe that Overlord down. I think this time he might pay attention to it. Snipes go down. Overlord falls. And finally, those Niduses at least will be stopped until something new takes location. Position here for Kira is obviously just extremely well set up right now. It's extremely well established. As our CC is going to float over to the left-hand side. And once again, attempt to re-expand here with the hatchery. Some spines take position. Solar puts himself in the midst of all of this. Well, obviously, the question mark could be, is Kira able to kind of bring units in from all sides and take a larger fight? This doesn't even look like that scary of an army. It's basically Ling Bane Corruptor. Obviously, this is very lib heavy, but I'm not sure. I mean, 16 libs is a huge establishment. I'm just not sure if the ground army from Soul is really good enough to stand its ground or to really do anything too exciting either, right? Like I say, with Kira having these two bases up, he's a little bit more chilled out in terms of taking this base on the left, but of course, eventually you do still want to take that. Nidus falls, the drone will go down, some creep tumors will be cleaned up, and we push Solar's control away from the left-hand side here on site Delta. Kira leading this opening match of today's final day of the WardiTV Korean Royale 3 with a 1-0 lead in this best of 5. Corruptors get on top of this command center. You're going to start dropping some snipes. The bio will start to kite backwards, using the tank as a choke point. And that CC will fall, but that's very replaceable. Obviously, all the Lings that die, very replaceable too. We're adding on more Infestors as still. Let's start investing some of that gas elsewhere. And there's the Broodlord build. 10 Broodlords come up. How should you understand the mineral and gas arrows? Whoever it's pointing towards is mining more. 1 arrow means a little bit, 2 arrows means a lot, 3 arrows means like hella lots. I think it's like 250, 500, and 750 resources more, so yeah, this is going to even on minerals. It's about 250 gas, so it should be 1 or 2 arrows. It's something like that. It might be different for gas to minerals. I don't know the exact values. As our Liberators going to try to siege up once again. These few Broodlords on the left-hand side are very much so on their own, supported by a handful of Corruptors and a Viper or two now showing up as well. And this is where Solar may be able to start breaking through Kira a little bit. He's actually going to take down this forward planetary, which is a nice position to just remove from the equation. Corruptors, of course, take spray down this orbital as well. As Kira and everything over to the right side needs to figure out how he's going to engage. He got a lurking Infestor moving around as well, which can be problematic if we're going to pop up and hit all those ghosts. But EMP at the Fungal did go off. The Bane Star to reach the ghost. We will have to lift up into the medevacs here on both sides of this fight. And Liberators sieging up obviously do so much as well. Even if they're just shooting at Lings and Banes, eventually they do a lot. Well, this base will go down again. We have Solar rebuilding a lot of Lings, utilizing that mineral bank he's established here. 30 minutes ticks over here on site Delta. Liberators all get sieged. A couple of Banes continue to come through. Infestors continue to go down. I haven't seen a single Infestor drop a Fungal yet. Parasitic bombs came through, but the Liberators are very well spread out, and the Liberators are going to go chasing anti-air is in those Corruptors, and they need to start doing something about these Libs, which are going to come in. We've got Marauders and Ghosts coming through. If the Ghosts get rid of the Corruptors, then the Broodlords will continue to be chased. New Corruptors in production. Lings streaming to their death into that bio cluster as the Libs just keep on targeting down the Broodlords. They seem invincible. The +3 vehicle plating putting in some serious work for those Liberators, keeping them alive for a hefty duration. We have 15 Libs still on the map. I guess they're scattered around everywhere. Oh my goodness. Imagine all of these guys were over here fighting. as that was a massive win for Cure. Resources lost ticks over to almost a 30,000 difference. Well, 26,000. It's not quite 30,000. I was getting a little ahead of myself, but it's increasing. It is growing. And Cure behind all of this apparently gets this orbital into position so you can start to mine off this 9 o'clock base, which has been, I don't want to say the missing piece of the puzzle. Definitely something as our Bio will fight. The Liberators will decide what they want to do. They're going to siege up. That's their choice. If you win on the ground, you can clean out the Corruptors in the sky very easily afterward. Are we winning on the ground, though? I do not know if we are. Q has a ton of money, and he will have to get to rebuild. And here he does win on the ground, and now Solar has to consider what he does with that many Corruptors. Well, now the Liberator count is down to 4. That was some of the heavy losses from Q, who immediately moves forward, because to be fair, what do you rebuild right now? Well, Ling Bane, going to take a little while to get those Lings built, then Bane's morph. Broodlords begin to morph as well, but that's going to take a little bit, so Q takes this as an opportunity to get rid of some of these drones, this hatchery as well. Solar has pretty much just spent the last of his gas here as these Lings run forward. They cannot fight that on their own. They need the Banelings. He's spent pretty much the last of his gas. He's got a little bit of gas still mining. So he still has gas mining, but he's actually going to lose one of those extractors here and this hatchery, so that's a huge deal. Any gas you deny right now is a big factor. Drones are going to burrow. The scan will come down. They would have been better to jump into the Nidus and to get away, but they do that a little bit too late in the end. 13 workers killed. A lurking infestor. Not sure if Q can see that. The fungal growth here could be massive if it pops up at the right time. The Broods are pressing forward. The Liberators are going to unsiege and back away. The Corruptors might still be able to catch those on their retreat, as Cure is pretty much rebuilt here. 6 new libs coming into play. A Thor coming up as well, going to get some initial snipes off, and he does have the vision as well as the scan, so he saw that infestor that was burrowed moving forward. Tank here still as we set up the Liberators and we try and hold our ground. The Broodlings on their own are not going to do too much. And again, with those Liberators helping the Bio just fighting, we're going to have to pull back, though, away from the Banelings, trying to avoid some of that. The Liberators are left to kind of do their own thing as the Corruptors come and fight them. The Banelings are trying to stay out of reach until the Libs are gone. Then, of course, we can have the Bio army to come through. The Bio currently fighting. The Broodlords are taking damage. Solo, I think, on his last legs with this army as the Bio is just about ready to collapse in on this. There's a handful of Banelings left in the center, but will they ever reach the Bio army? Unlikely to do so. And Ghost with Energy are able to hunt down Broodlords. The Broods at least dropping Broodlings to push this back and say, no, not just yet. Solo will stay alive, but by the skin of his teeth. And I do not think he really has an army to keep on taking fights here, as Cure is still mining. Cure is still building, re-establishing, and getting set to be fully established into a victory on Game 2 here on Site Delta in a 34-minute game. Cure just keeping his army out of reach of those Banelings. Here we go, though. Fungal lands, and the Banes are going to get to crash through. One last-ditch effort from Solar. He needs this to go extremely well. It was not good enough. Not enough Banelings. Too much Bio left over. Although, do we have an answer to Broodlords right now? Air army might actually be a little bit tougher than what Cure is accounting for. He has to pull away again. So much in production here from Cure still in comparison to his opponent. So he's just going to pull back. Solar is absolutely broke. He's basically got nothing left. The bases that he lost were the last mining locations, so he's long-distance mining with 36 drones. 27 SCVs left in the game as a bunch go down here. Solar will try and establish the 9 o'clock. Cure is mining out the right side bases, so that 9 o'clock base is pretty much the last base left standing. If you lose that base to Solar, he might be able to mine up enough to actually get back into this. A couple of Liberators will all go a siege, and some abducts come through. The sieges continue. Infestors getting chased out. Some of the Libs will remain on siege. The Bio wants to run forward here, trying to play dodge jumps on the fungal growths. Do not want to let those commit, as the Broodlords will continue to move on around, and they are going to reposition themselves back into the center here. 3 more Infestors being established. Vikings and Ghosts all on the way up. Here we go. Big stim from Cure coming in from the concave. Fungal lands on the front set of units. There's a few Fungals remaining, about 3 of them. The Liberators come in. Any anti-air you can get is just necessary right now. There's not a lot of anti-air. The Corruptors are doing their job to get rid of the Liberators. The Liberators say, just give me them Broodlords. They're going to go diving for them. A Fungal to slow it down. The ground army has won out for Cure, but he needs to get rid of the Broodlords, and that's what he's starting to do as they keep on dropping, and Cure will have game number 2 in his victory. I don't even know in his what, on the scoreboard or whatever. GG's, and Cure is gonna win. Pretty bonkers game. 93 to 67,000 resources lost. A pretty exciting one too. Definitely not like a sit back game at number 3. In the bottom left, gotta be feeling great after a win like that. Our blue Terran player from Team Liquid is Cure. Top left, our red Zerg from Vitality is Solar. Well, we have to reset a little bit after that one. Obviously, that was a action-packed, non-stop game. I will be a little bit truthful and say that if Solo gets knocked out, it's not the worst thing in the world because we have a Zerg in the grand finals. A Zerg going out here would mean that we have a pure non-mirror matchup in the grand final later today. So a little bit greedy, maybe. Yeah, obviously I love Solo. He plays in so much. He's always playing in our tournaments. But sometimes you just gotta say it how it is, which is, you know, quite frankly, it would be better for the tournament if there's no chance of a mirror match. Although, that would be kind of yeah, that would be kind of I guess tough for Solo to go through all the other matches anyways. Like, even if he comes back, beats Skewer, there's still a tough road ahead. Bunny, classic creator. Not impossible, though. Not impossible. Let's see. As we have Skewer up 2-0. Solo, the one that needs to make some changes here on Amphion for our Game 3. Two fairly different games from Skewer. One, where he was all out about that aggression, committing, pushing. Did not want to really do much else. As our Reaper comes to the upper left-hand side. Just going to go scouting about here. And then the second game, obviously just all about kind of sitting back. He was, you know, split pushing a little bit, but he never really made an overly aggressive play. He was very happy to just let this develop in a big way. And that is exactly what he did. As the Reaper continues to fight, the Ling gets chased back. The drone will take some more shots as well. Ling's still coming over. Hatchery gets placed. Ling's still coming over. Reaper getting chased down a little. As that Ling speed comes through, Queen drones all coming up. Starboard will come in with the CC coming through as well. That's on the way as our OV just gonna chill up on the high ground for a few moments. So if we just chill on, a couple Hellions and the Viking continue to come through. Link speed is on the way. And a couple of Queens on the way out, and let's have our drone moving down to the low ground. Get to that third base. Queens moving about again. Hellions and the Viking coming over. SCVs are producing. And our orbital. A couple more Hellions on the way. Get to chill a little bit after a very fun game. Number 2. Welcome again, guys, to the WardiTV Korean Royale. I'll just take a moment just as this is pretty calm. Well, actually, never mind. We've got concussive shells on the way. So, actually, a pretty aggressive follow-up here. Very important you get rid of this Overlord. You do not want this Overlord to see exactly what's going on. And seeing this setup might have just told you a little bit. So, yeah, concussive shells coming up. Marauders coming through. Hellions are beginning to move out onto the map. And this is going to be an armory added for a Hellbat attack. So we do not just have a calm little cooldown section of time here. There's going to be a little bit more aggro, in fact. And Cure is going to send it, just try and get a lead off the back of this. Now, if you do not see this coming as Solo, which I do not think he does right now, this can be very, very bad for you. Because this is one of the more aggressive Hellbat attacks. This is one of those attacks where if it hits and you are not prepped, you are in a lot of trouble. We're going to go wait and pick up one more Marauder with this medevac, and then all of our Hellions can move forward and they can go and push into position. Oh, Solar, Lair, Spores, all of these investments that are not necessary. Finally, a Baneling Nest. Now, the Queens are at the front. The Marauders are great in this scenario, though, because they're going to come through. They are going to go and hunt those Queens. They're going to slow them from retreating away. They're going to remove their kite ability. Hellions morph into the Hellbats, and here we go. As we saw moving forwards, Lings around the side. Well, we're going to move the Spore in the front, which, to be fair, does help to get rid of the Medevac, and it tanks a lot of damage. So the Spore Crawler tanking here. Medevac taking a lot of shots. The Viking landed. We pull the Hellbats back to try and deal with the Lings on the flank. The Queens are just standing and fighting. Do we have enough power here to just stand and fight as Solo? The Medevac gone, healing gone. Still a lot of Hellbats left. The Marauders still available. The Hellbat numbers keep dropping, though, and I think Solo is going to find himself a defense. Couple new Hellions showing up. They're probably just going to have to be used to create something of a retreat as Solar defends the attack. And he is going to hang on in there, so that is very nicely done. Yeah, in this game number 3. Solar is going to stay alive. Gets the defense. I actually think the Spore was really sick. He realizes, oh, I don't really need it over here, so let's bring it elsewhere. Did he? Yeah, he did actually keep the others up. There's a lib in the main that just got shot down as well. No, I actually don't know what that was. But the Spore coming to the front, it tanked a lot of damage, and then, yeah, he transfused a little. You just let it, if you're hitting the Spore, then great. You're not hitting everything else. The Lings eventually took a pretty decent fight, too, where they initially ran into the Marauders, so they weren't just immediately getting hit by the Hellbats in return. Slayer is about halfway through. The stim pack is soon to finish. And 1-1 upgrades coming up on the engineering base as well. We have Hellions still out to the far right-hand side. They're going to keep maneuvering as they get up to the high ground here. And a couple of creep tumors will be picked away out. So 2 creep tumors cleaned out on the right immediately. 1-1 upgrade still on the way out. Additional Hellions building. Now medevacs are producing. And these Hellions will take a shot to come on through and get rid of, again, a little bit more of that creep spread. So more and more of this creep continuing to go down. Hellions escape away. Mutalisks building up. The Baneling speed's halfway done. Hellions, Marines moving back into the center. I mean, this is the follow-up here from Q. Stim is ready, but man, there's 3 Banelings and there's Mutas on the way, and there's basically no anti. Like, there's a handful of Marines, but not that many. I think this is Q just going to walk into a little bit too tough of a position here. Bats on our Marines take some steps forward as Queens pull away over to the right-hand side. The Marines stem forwards. The creep tumors begin to go down. We're going to see the couple of additional drones continue to drop, so they will continue to fall. There's 4, 7, 9 workers all dropping here. Damage is being done in a serious manner. The Banelings crash forwards. The Hellbat's still fighting. The rest of these Zerglings getting torn asunder by the Hellbat flames. So 9 drones go down, but at the same time, Mutas show up. And the anti-air is a group of Marines that's, okay, not the worst group of Marines you've ever seen. They have to keep stimming around. They're going to be low HP, and these Mutas obviously have good mobility. There's not enough Marines to split into 2 groups, I actually don't think. We're going to try to. Maybe it's just about enough. A couple medevacs get there. Alright, well, we'll defend, but 10 SCVs, it's more than the damage you did on the other side of the map, so not ideal for Kua, who sets down 15 workers. That part of it's not the end of the world. This little group of units is likely going to die because the Mutas will come back and clean up the medevac. Kua does have a 1-1 upgrade lead, so he's got that in his favor. That's an advantage he is able to sit with for the moment. We just continue to fly through. The medevac gets away to the upper right side, and now more of those Marines, Hellions, the medevac continue to come across the map as well, so they continue to take position here. On the left, our Marines are going to go over. They're going to find an Overlord. So, I mean, to be fair, Kira is playing quickly. He's all around the map, just trying to find openings, which is not always, again, the safest way to play against Mutas, because obviously Mutas, if you're all around the map against them, they can kind of catch those medevacs, pick them off. But by doing this and not getting punished for it, Kua is essentially establishing a kind of game where now the Mutas are playing defensively, and so the Mutas are not ping-ponging between his bases. They're not dealing a ton of damage or anything along those lines. As the rest of our lane bang continues to gather together. Top right hatch goes down as Kura establishes his own 4th base. The players mirroring each other's expansion patterns for the moment, which is not always the case on Amphions, so it's interesting to see here in the TvZ that both are kind of opting for the same base after same base. Let's dive in again. Reactor will take some shots, and like I say, I think Kura's doing a lot of cool moves that is definitely keeping him in a game that was not exactly the best setup for himself. Resources lost dead even, never a great thing as a Terran player. What's the income graph look like? Yeah, generally Solar favored as well. I'm surprised this drop on the top right is still about, but let's get a couple of creep tumors before pulling away. 1 Marine is left to die, and the medevac will try and escape. The Mutas are en route to try and take that down. I don't know if there's any good way to try and save this realistically. I mean, you can load a few Marines to try and fight back on a Muta, but there's no way reinforcing units are going to get there in time. Oh, we actually got the boost! The Muta stopped and the medevac slips by! There is a way! When there's a will, there's a way, apparently, as SCVs instantly pre-pull to deal with the missile turret being attacked, so you can repair that, keep that alive. T2 is about to finish up. The Thor and the missile turrets are still on the way in. Our hive building in the main. Marines and mines come back over to the left, and we have the mutas coming back across. 3-3 is starting to come on through. The missile turrets finishing. Tech Lab drops onto the barracks. Stimmer it up. A couple of those lings going down already. The Bane's still moving over. Mutas are going to continue to come by. Wouldn't mind. It's going to crash in. Some more of those lings taking damage. Still got the Bioforce collecting together here as you get Burrow, +2/+2/+2 flyer attack. All of that is still establishing for the moment. Just going to go get ourselves onto this set of rocks on the left now, so just going to pick our way through those. Green spreading about, a couple of creep teamers going down. We do have mutas diving into the main base. SCVs again to pull to a missile turret. But missile turrets are always this weird thing where, like, they will probably die against mutas still. The main goal of the missile turrets is to buy enough time that you get other units there, other defenses in place when you need to, or before the mutas can hit anything more meaningful, right? So they're kind of a time buyer, and that's what they did there. Is Vane's going to try and crash forwards once again. A couple of Marauders taking shots. The Thor's going to stand there for a few moments as well. The Mutalisks pull back in from the left-hand side. Bio will stand fighting here. Kua looking to take an attempted 3-0 victory if he can keep pushing. It's been an impressive game because it was not a pretty start. I think he did a lot of things right to kind of give himself a chance again in this one. And yeah, now pushing onto this base. The Mutas are still counterattacking on the other side. We'll check those in a second because the Ling Bane rolls forwards now. Widow Mines have got a role to play here, of course. They need to clean up some of these lings. The Thor, I love that because obviously it really helps just push the mutas back in the army. I know the mutas are not here right now, but definitely a factor as well as our lings still running through. The Bane's trying to crash on in. The Marauders, the Marines pushing back again. Again, Adrenal Glands is about to finish up. Our +3 melee is on the way with Chitin's Plane. If we can get to Ultras, well, we do have a good Marauder count, but it does make that Zerg army that little bit better, a little bit more sustainable, a little bit more able to stand in the fights. As we have... This position is nice because I guess if you don't want to fight, you just pull back through the choke and just let everything come together when the Widow Mines will start to do that damage. Thor looks as though it will probably go down now. A couple more Widow Mines are still trying to line up. Another Widow Mine burrows further forwards. Kua is not being pushed back from here at all. The mutas are still diving about in the bottom right-hand side. Kindness Play not done yet, so those Ultras are not as powerful as they may yet become. Medivac's being dropped down too. A lot of those Medivacs are pretty much no energy, so there's not a lot of healing remaining. There's not that many Marauders left either to deal with the Ultralisks. Pull back over. Queen's getting chased. The Ling Bane still coming through. Bio still pulling back. Another Baneling connects in. Widow Mine's getting knocked down. Again, just a couple of Ultras remaining. They do now have Chitinous at least. +3 carapace only just starts. So that's one part of the one missing part of the puzzle. Bane's continue to roll through. Bio will turn back around. Marines are still fighting. Mutas are getting whacked. And lots of Ultras still building. I think this is where Solar has been able to kind of succeed in the defense. That said, I mean, Q's on 5 bases, and yeah, okay, right now his supply isn't great, but given a bit of time, I could absolutely believe in his supply kind of, you know, getting back to max. And, you know, 5 bases is 5 bases. He scans here, he sees, okay, this base is only just coming up, so it's 6 against 5 right now. It's not terrible. He's going to send a few Marauders diving towards that location, although there's rocks to block, so you can't actually get there, but you will clean out some creep in that direction, which could maybe give him a chance to kind of drop in that area without being seen. He gets dove on here, though, and there's no Medivacs for healing, so his army's pretty weak. The Liberators weren't siege properly. The Widow Mines had to siege out of nowhere, and it looks as though this base will go down. So very quickly, Q's position and setup on the map starts to look a whole lot worse as the Planetary Fortress will fall. These Ultras are still moved through. The mutas keep coming in. GG says Q, and Solo will fight back in this series. Finally gets a defense. Felt like it was maybe going to be a lot because, well, we don't do many of them, but we'll do a quick one here just as this game gets going. So in the top left corner, our blue Terran is Q, and in the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg is Solar. What I want to say, of course, is just very simply is that the WardiTV Korean Royale is a big thanks to you guys. Obviously, this was an event that was crowdfunded last year. We crowdfunded Season 2 of the event. We had some money left over, so we decided to double up the leftover money out of the WardiTV funds to make Season 3 still somewhat competitive with a $7,000 prize pool. So thank you, everyone who supported that. You guys helped to make this awesome. WardiTV events are going to be continuing, guys. But of course, as always, we cannot continue them without your support. So if you do enjoy tournaments like this one, other events that we run, the best thing you can do is to support the channel. Whether that be just by continuing to sit there and watch the ads during the ad time, whether it's to drop a subscription or a membership or bits or whatever. Anything you guys can do can support. Obviously, check your Prime subs. If you've got a Prime sub available, that helps out a whole bunch too. We turn all of that into more StarCraft 2 tournaments, which means that you guys can watch more StarCraft as well. And we just keep that cycle going. So if you do enjoy, do consider supporting. It goes a long way. Again, these tournaments really do not happen without you guys. So do subscribe and so on if you can. That's pretty much all I've got to say. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. Appreciate you guys. And let's see what happens here in map 4 of this best of 5 series. Kua leading 2-1 in the best of. And still just one map away from taking on Bunny in the next round of competition. Two Reapers continue up. We get that on the go. We'll see forward barracks. Going to be a fun, different way of getting set up. It's kind of interesting that this has become a style, almost a game. I feel as though it was kind of surprising to me because I feel like this really fell out of fashion, and now it feels like it's almost back in fashion. Obviously, it did have a good showing, a lot of results off of this build order at Dallas, which obviously, you know, typically does kind of encourage other people to kind of go use it again, but just kind of intriguing to see the ups and the downs of this kind of build. Because, like I say, for me, the Reaper build had really kind of taken a step back, and really kind of stopped going for it for a while. Now, the second Reaper shows up, and Kua is going to be going into 4 Reapers in total. This seems to be the new standard for this build order. There's definitely a while where 3 Reapers were just kind of the go-to, but 4 seems to be the magic number. In fact, now we're going to build 5. So we're going to see a bit more of an aggressive one from Kua here. Taking triple CC behind it, really wants to put emphasis on these Reapers, buying some time. In fact, we're going to go to 6, man. He's not going to stop building Reapers. Okay, well, that's a very big commitment. I wonder if this can always be in response to what he's seen as well. And right now, what you see is, okay, I got a lot of damage on Queens. Maybe you can just justify the additional Reapers because you believe there is more to be done here. As we have our Reapers getting pushed back once more. Engineering bays are building about halfway done at the moment. And this hatchery will take a few more shots. Still working our way through that as our Reaper's going to turn around again. Queens at the front will take some shots. Our Creep Teamer will go down. Our Queens will still try and stand and fight. Those Reapers get back to work. 1-1 upgrade starts. A big bioplay behind this. Like I say, with this amount of Reapers, 6 of them, is a bit more aggressive than usual. Putting some good damage on this hatchery. Queens transfusing each other, but at some point you actually got to transfuse the hatchery as well. And as the Reaper that gets hurt is just a single one. Link speed is a long way off. We delayed that a long time here from Solar. Feeling as though you would be able to defend without it, but yeah, now you're probably kind of regretting the fact that link speed's so far away when you see 6 Reapers. That said, the hatchery is still alive. The Queens are still alive. Nothing really has been lost just yet. As these Reapers will try and find more of an opening. Obviously, more transfusions available soon on these Queens, so this should never really result in too much going down. Got 1 transfusion off there. And again, I think the big part of this from here is just distracting, kind of eating up these Queens' time. All these transfusions, right? All of these transfusions are basically, not creep tumors, I guess is what I want to say. I don't know why it took me a moment to finish saying it out loud. But yeah, all the creep spread is, well, non-existent because of the fact that Queen Energy has been going elsewhere. And that means that when this stim push comes, maybe there's some potential to actually just break through his Q. We will see. Right now, Solar droning nicely, 52 to the 40 workers, so looking good in that regard. We have a single link heading to the upper right side. Starport, Armory coming through, the reactor building, barracks on the way, still got 1-1 in stim. Continuing on up as well. Single link takes them down. A couple of Marines are going to shoot back. We do have Reapers and Marines on the bottom. Stim will be done here. Don't really have many units, right? And this is also going to be 1-1. These Marines are pretty good, man. Fourth phase going to take some damage. We're going to fire up onto it. It gets cancelled. The Queen's on the way over. Well, I think it's the Lings that actually need to be careful. The Queens might be able to take something of a fight. Obviously off creep they can't transfuse, but they are close enough to get back on it. One stim spent from Cure, that probably just means it's time to back away because you can't really sustain stimming multiple times off creep. Armory done, so 2-2 can start when Cure has the money for it. And will look to maintain a pretty significant upgrade advantage. They're also quite a way off from the, the lair finishing and Bane speed starting, so there's potentially a good timing here with Medivac combat shield against, no Baneland speed. Those things at least getting through for a bit of damage. Man, the supplies are still very good for Solo, though. He's 10 workers up, he's 20 army supply ahead. It's just the army supply is mostly in Lings that, again, don't have those upgrades. So it's the tech that's really powerful for Cure. It's just that tech still needs to take some time to kick into play. Two Medivacs load up and begin to boost off on down to the bottom left side of the map. Away they go. He's going to run forward. Reapers and Marines are going to be there. So those Lings will not do too much. Marines boosting over. Lings are going to be there. Lings get turned around. Medivac wants to boost into this main base, but not going to be able to do too much. Spawn the Queen going to be in position. We get the Medivac back through the bottom. Going to unload and jump onto, again, a few more Lings. A couple of drones. Just work through that. The Ling's still running forward. The Medivac's load back away. Medivacs go boosting through the center. The Ling Bane gets back into the middle as well. And Marine's going to be able to do well there, picking up some of that troop spread. We see the rest of the Lings coming over. Marines continue to pull back. Bane's going to roll through as well. 2-2 upgrades coming in. Again, Hellions, Marauders, Marines, Medivacs all building as that creep continues to spread. So we get that on the go also. Just see more of these Marines getting unloaded out down into the center. We have more Bio continuing to push across. Medivacs come down to the south. Marines are going to stem forward. A couple of creep teamers going down here. Ling Bane is going to head in. This is a big push from Q. This is the 2-2 time, and again, main sure to make keeping an advantage on those upgrades. Bat's going to try and take the lead in. Bio's going to stem up. We are going to be seeing. So far, the Bane's not feeling like they want to commit there. They're going to go. They're going to get that top right portion of the army pretty easily. Some Balins left over is always a good sign for the Zerg, but now getting chased away. Got to make sure you've got enough Banes to recommit in again. Marauders getting left in the front. Good pullback from Q, pulling the Marines away, letting the Marauders put in the work right now. The Marauders are tanking so many of the shots. They are absolute heroes at the front of this army. Solar is edging towards 2-2. We are a few seconds away from it, but there's barely any Banes left. 1 or 2 connect on Marines finally. Is that enough as 2-2 finishes? There's no Banelings remaining. It's only Zerglings. Oh, there's one Baneling that can get target fired down, though, and I think Q might have just broken through with this attack. Attacks in to this base. He's going to get it, and that might actually just be game. Medivacs are out of energy, by the way. It was extremely close, but those Marauders were such champions as the Marauders see Q to a 3